I wanted to ask you just about Drew Allar and the leadership style, and what have you seen him? How has he been able to grow over the course of time and up into this season, I should say, in leading this football team?
Yeah, I'm just proud of him. Drew has made tremendous growth every single year, all the way back to recruiting. I don't know if a lot of people remember, but Drew, when we first started recruiting, was a 3-star recruit, kind of a throwback recruit. Kept getting better, kept moving up the charts, depending on which recruiting service you follow. Some people had him as the #1 quarterback in the country before it was all said and done. Showed up on campus, was a backup quarterback for us as a true freshman behind an NFL quarterback, and has gotten better every single year, really in every single area. He's 6'5", he's now 235 pounds, can make every throw on the field, has shown that he can hurt people with his feet, and has really made tremendous strides as well as a leader, holding himself to a really high standard and willing to have tough conversations with his teammates as well. So he's made significant leaps every year. We expect him to take another significant leap this year. Most people had him projected as a first-round draft choice last year. He decided to come back to school, unfinished business, collectively as a team, but also as an individual. So I'm a big Drew fan. You guys get a chance to get around him, you'll feel the same way. He's really what it's all about. It's team. It's community. It's Penn State. He does things the right way, and I couldn't be more proud of him.
Straight ahead, Coach.
Hi, James. Dan Hope from 11 Warriors.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, James.
Where is that? Where are you from, Dan?
Ohio. You mentioned that you feel like you've had the best personnel this year, which you've ever had at Penn State. Does that add pressure for you guys to feel like this is your year to go and win a championship?
Yeah, the way I would describe it is this, right? There's a ton of conversations that are happening nationally, right? And we embrace that, we've earned that, based on what we've been able to do and what we got coming back. There's a lot of people that are excited on a national level talking about us. But the reality is, when it comes to the Lash football building, or when it comes to local, these are always the expectations at Penn State. We had what a lot of people would consider a really good season last year. We were a game away from playing for the national championship, and you could actually make the argument a drive away from playing for the national championship. But it didn't feel that way, right? Because the expectations at Penn State are really high. So we embrace that. I came to Penn State understanding that, knowing that. Our players did as well. So I think the conversations that you're talking about nationally are happening, and we appreciate that, but it hasn't really changed close to home, and it hasn't changed internally in our program, because these are always our expectations. And let's also be honest. I mean, it's a great conversation, but who really cares about preseason rankings? They mean nothing. It's a good argument to have, and everybody has fun with it, but the only rankings that matter are the ones that happen at the end of the season, and that's what we're concerned about, and the only way we'll do that is by handling our business today. Yes, sir.
We have our first row here. Hey, Coach. Steve Hellwagen, Bucknuts.com, 24/7 Sports. Tyler Warren was such an integral part of your offense last season and just impacted games in so many ways, and won games in a lot of instances. How do you replace that production? And I assume it's spread out over a number of people, but who are some of the people you're going to be counting on to pick up some of that slack, I guess?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Yeah, Tyler was a special player, right? It's interesting because 2 years ago I sat in the meeting room with our tight ends, and we had 2 tight ends, Theo Johnson and Tyler Warren, were deciding, what was going to happen and who was going to come back and who was going to declare. Theo Johnson decides to declare, ends up being a second-round draft choice with the Giants. Tyler comes back and obviously has a unbelievably memorable season, an all-time season in Penn State history, really college football history. We kind of had a unique situation at running back this year. I thought it was going to be the same deal. I thought one of those guys would decide to declare for the NFL and the other one would come back. They both decided to come back. So when you talk about taking some of that production, we got 2 great running backs. You know as well as anybody, Penn State, from a historical standpoint at the running back position, been a ton of really good players. It's amazing to me that both Nick Singleton and Katron Allen have a chance to be the all-time leading rushers in Penn State history, 1 and 2, and they've been sharing carries their entire career. So obviously they're going to play a big role in that. Our tight end room, we've had as much production out of our tight end room as anybody in the country. Khalil Dinkins is a guy that not a whole lot of people are talking about, but I think should be. Obviously, Andrew Rapplier, who was in position to play a bunch last year and then had a season-ending injury, and then Luke Reynolds. They're 3 guys that we think will be very productive in our tight end room, and our tight end room has been as good as anybody in the country in the last 5 years. And then at wide receiver, that's obviously been the big conversation. We went out into the transfer portal and brought in 3 really productive players. In Pena from Syracuse, who was a captain, in Hudson from USC, who was a captain. And then when you talk about Devontae Ross, who made a bunch of big plays and had a ton of production at Troy. And for me, I got a lot of respect for the University of Iowa and how they play defense and special teams, and being able to watch Troy and this young man have a lot of success. So what we hope to do, to answer your question, long answer, but is to spread that ball around to all those people. In a lot of ways, I think it makes us more difficult to defend when there's more guys on the field that we think can impact the game at any moment.